Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. And today we are going to talk about a question that often stirs up a lot of debate in the real estate world. And that question is, do you need a real estate agent to buy a home? It's a question that I get asked a lot. So I want to provide a well-rounded perspective so you can make the best decision for you. So let's dive in. Okay, so today we are going to talk about if you need to use a real estate agent when you're buying a home. It's one of the biggest questions that I get as a loan officer, and I'm sure you're curious as well. And the easy answer to that question is no. You don't technically need a real estate agent to purchase a home, but we're going to dive in a little bit more about the specifics, talking a little bit more about if you don't use a real estate agent, do you get a better deal on the home? Do you get a better deal on the price? What does that look like? And what does a real estate agent do? What's their purpose and why we think you should or you shouldn't use one? So let's dive in. Okay, first part of this process is explaining what does a real estate agent actually do? And yes, their job is to help you find your dream home, but it's also a lot more than that. A real estate agent is looking for the best deal for you. They're going to negotiate the terms of that home purchase. Now, think about this. You're buying a home, especially if it's your first time. This is going to be the largest transaction of your life. And picking a good real estate agent is going to help you negotiate the best terms of that deal with the seller. They're going to work out all the contracts and legal paperwork. They're going to guide you through what inspections you might want to do. What things do you want to look at? Do you want to do a survey? What type of things do we want to dive in? Does it have a septic? Should we test the water? Should we look at radon? There's a lot of different things you can do in terms of inspecting your property, and they're going to help you guide you through that process. That's one of their main objectives. Outside of that, a good real estate agent, and let me put this caveat in there, there are a lot of real estate agents out there, and there are very few good real estate agents. A good real estate agent is going to understand your needs. They're going to listen to your needs. They're going to point you in the right area, not just in terms of home, but also in terms of neighborhood, school district. If you have kids, they're going to have a good understanding of where to go and what is going to meet your needs in the best way. They're also going to understand the best things for you. Let's say you find a house, it may not, likely is not going to meet 100% of everything you want in a property. That's very, very hard to find. But let's say it meets 80%. They're going to be able to say, hey, this 20% that you're not getting, you could do this here or do that there. And boom, now you're able to turn this property into exactly what you were looking for. And that's what a good real estate agent does. Again, there are a lot of bad agents out there. Unfortunately, there's a lot of part-time real estate agents. There's a lot of agents that are just transactional and aren't out for your best interests. The reality is there is nothing better you can do than find a good one if you're going to use a real estate agent. But that's in general what they do outside of just managing the process, making sure they can connect you to a good lender because your lender matters and who you're using matters. Going online to find the lowest rate isn't always the best deal because the lowest rate doesn't matter if it doesn't make it to the closing table. Another big thing that most people don't think about that real estate agents do is streamlining the process. And what do I mean by that is buying a home is not only very emotional, but it can be really stressful as well. You're packing up, you're trying to coordinate dates and turn on utilities and figure out what you need to do, when you need to do it. And a good agent's going to streamline that process. They're going to help you remember what to do, when to do it. Again, take care of all the things that you might not know you need to do as far as inspections, as far as surveys, as far as finding the right closing attorney, finding the right lender, finding the right home inspector, different third parties that are involved in the process. They're going to be able to streamline that for you and find you the right people, putting together the best team possible to help you through the process in buying a home. So if you decide to buy a home and you don't want to use a real estate agent, which is 100% a possibility, it's something that I've worked with clients that aren't using real estate agents. This is typically more prevalent in for sale by owner transactions when a seller is selling their home directly, family transactions in which maybe there was an estate, or a family member wanted to keep the house in the family, so they're selling it to another family member. This can happen. It's not common, but it can happen. So there's a lot of things that you have to understand that are often missed when you don't use a real estate agent. And some of those, in terms of the paperwork, as far as the terms of the purchase, making sure everything's contractually bound, it's all done through a contract. A closing attorney, at least in the Carolinas, we use closing attorneys. If you're in other states, it may be a title company. The title company, closing attorney, or whoever the settlement agent might be, they can help you draft up that contract. They can help you fill in the terms and make everything legal as far as that process goes. So that is a solution if you're not using a real estate agent. What that attorney is not going to do, or what that title company is not going to do, is tell you what you need to do when you're buying a home. They're not going to tell you, hey, here's some inspectors that you should use. Here's a home inspector. Hey, we got to coordinate this appraisal for the lender because the lender needs an appraisal. So they're not going to coordinate that for you. They're not going to be there to manage that side of the process. So that's something that if you're thinking about buying a home without a real estate agent, you really want to make sure you do your due diligence on understanding the process, everything that's involved, so you don't miss a step and end up buying a home, getting yourself into a situation to where something was missed because you didn't do an inspection. Now you have a massive repair bill for something that could have been caught up front because you didn't decide to use a real estate agent. The next piece I wanted to talk about when you don't use a real estate agent is a really common question. Do I get a better deal if I don't use a real estate agent? And here's the reality. No, typically not. Can you? Maybe. But the seller always has a number in their mind. They want to get to this number. Whether you're using a real estate agent or whether you're not using a real estate agent, they want that number. That's set. So getting them off that number, while maybe you are able to negotiate a little bit, typically, in terms of what I've seen in my experience, you're not going to get a better deal by not utilizing a real estate agent. Builders is another one, common. New construction. A new construction home is going to sell for the same price whether you use a real estate agent or not. Why? Because that builder has already assumed that you're likely to use a real estate agent, and they've built that into the price, and the price isn't going to change either way. So can you get a better deal if you don't use a real estate agent? Potentially. I mean, everything is up for negotiation. Is it likely? No, not typical in most US markets. Now, probably the most pivotal piece, and I mentioned this earlier, is selecting the right real estate agent. So let's talk about how to select the right real estate agent. And the first thing I always tell people, it's all about personality. You want to find somebody that matches your personality and what you're looking for. You don't want, you're going to be working with them for a decent period of time, and you want to make sure you guys are going to click from a personality perspective. It's extremely important. The next part is communication style. I've seen too many agents help clients go under contract and then they kind of disappear because they don't have great communication. It's an extremely important piece of this puzzle, not just to communicate with you as a home buyer, but also to communicate with the lender, to communicate with the closing attorney or settlement agent. There's a lot of parties involved, and good communication is clear. So you want to understand their communication and their communication style. Make sure that lines up with what you're looking for. And third, you want somebody that understands the area that you're looking at. If you're looking in one side of town and you have an agent that's from a completely different side of town and doesn't really do a lot of transactions there, are they going to be your best advocate? No, they're probably not, because they're not going to have that experience and expertise on specific neighborhoods and school systems and all the questions that you may have as a home buyer. So expertise and experience are extremely important in this business. Same thing goes for lending. I have seen too many times where home buyers get pre-approved and then 2-3 weeks down the road, that lender can't approve that loan, and now they're caught in a bad situation. And this is typically happens when you're using a call center or some big bank or mortgage company. You're taking that loan officer's word for it. Well, that loan officer or that pre-approval is only as good as the person that looked at your application, at your documents, and the same thing goes for a real estate agent. If I'm going to look in Charlotte, North Carolina for a property to purchase, and I find a real estate agent that's lived here for 6 months, they're probably not going to be the best fit because they don't have the experience and the expertise of the area. Now, that's not always true because sometimes they have, if that agent's on a team, they can get some help. So there are different caveats to everything in real estate. But finding a real estate agent with the expertise, experience, and communication style that you're looking for, along with the right personality, is absolutely pivotal because you're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on a house and you want to make sure it goes smooth, it's stress-free for you, and all you have to worry about is showing up to closing, bringing your down payment and closing costs, and going through the process of getting those keys. So in conclusion, do you really need a real estate agent? Ultimately, it comes down to your experience, your comfortability level, and the specific circumstances you're under for buying a home. Personally, I always suggest to use a real estate agent when you're buying a home. Do you need to? No, especially in those circumstances in which you're buying a property from someone you know and you trust. That being said, choosing the right partner as far as real estate agent is important. And I think I've hit that point home well enough, but I just wanted to mention it again as we wrap up this video. So if you found this video helpful, and if you've liked this information, please give it a thumbs up, share it, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. This just helps me understand what kind of content you're looking for and allows me to be able to get it out there. So go ahead and give this a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching, and check it out next week when we put out a brand new video just for you.